Good evening, folks. We're back again, Creative Financing with JB. Another great Tuesday. Great conversation coming up, folks. I know y'all excited. I know it's a whole lot going on. But as you see, Miss Ramona Bracey today, she voted already. I hope everybody else out there voted. We have to vote. We have to stay at them polls, because a lot of stuff is coming up at the end of the year with elections, and we want to be on point. We want to make sure that we reach that goal and that our input matters. I know people say, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters all the way. And guess what? We have to prepare for it right now. And we're going to have some good conversations tonight, folks, about the voting, about what's going on, what we would like to see, what are some of your interests. And we're going to talk about Kent County Recorder of Deeds tonight, which is important to us. You're going to understand what it is, what they do, why we have it here in Kent County, which we have it in all three counties. But I want y'all to focus on the most important thing here is the vote and understand the platform that everybody's on. Because if you don't understand the platform, then you kind of lose consciousness of what's happening out here, what's going on in our community. But without further ado, I'm going to give Ms. Bracey a chance to introduce herself, give us a little background about herself, and then we're going to start asking some questions.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to join you all tonight. I greatly appreciate it. So my name is Ramona Bracey. I have been in Kent County for, I would say, 15 years. I currently work at the Office of the State Treasurer as a project manager, a strategic information systems project manager. I decided to run for Kent County Recorder of Deeds for a few reasons, but what I do now is I look at processes that we currently have and look where we can streamline, cut waste, and give people back more time in their day. So that would be experience that I would bring to the Recorder of Deeds office. I'm actually a criminal justice. That's what I studied in college. So I don't know. Kind of deviated from that one, I think. Right. But I really like to help people. I'm out in the community all the time. One of my most treasured things that I do in the community is I do a respite night with Embrace Delaware, where children with special needs come for a few hours on a Saturday and their parents get some me time. I love the children. I love to be with children. I love seeing them get excited about things. I am a lifetime Girl Scout. My final Girl Scout graduates this year, so I won't have to be a Girl Scout leader anymore. I'm an avid runner. So if you have local 5Ks, you'll see my name in there. I love to run in 5Ks. I have one coming up on June 20th. So I'm in training for that as well. Also an animal activist and primarily dogs. I have 5 dogs of my own because we were fostering and failing quite frequently because we kept the dogs. Wow. So I have it's just in me instilled in me from my parents to help in the community, serve my community, serve my church and all of the parishioners. I do attend church in Milford at St. John's. So yeah, anything else you want to know about me? I have 2 daughters. One is currently in college and she goes to Kentucky. She's studying to be a vet. She will graduate a year early. The youngest graduates this year from Caesar Rodney and she is off to study law.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just tell us, Kent County, you don't see how it grows, it's done expanded. So much has happened. But tell us about this recorder of deeds. What is the recorder of deeds? What do they
So
do?
So the recorder of deeds really is the gatekeeper and keeper of all real estate transactions. So when you purchase a house, that stuff goes through the recorder of deeds office. If someone passes away and leaves you property, all of that stuff travels through that office. It's a vital office. It's pertinent that that office is run very strictly, and that we have the best systems in place, best processes in place, because people don't have a lot of time. Right. So I can tell you, I had an experience at the Recorder of Deeds office, which is what triggered me to run. Because you can't sit back and complain about the way things are being done and do nothing to fix it.
Right.
So my experience was, I went in there, a simple transaction. First time I went in there, they were helpful. But I was told, oh, you need this, you need that. I said, is there something on a website that can tell me what I need to bring? Oh, you need to bring this, you need to bring, okay. So she said, don't worry. It usually takes people 4 to 5 trips to this office before they get it right.
Wow.
That was what she said. And I was like, 4 to 5 trips? Who has that time? Really? Right. I mean, if you think about it, they're only open from the normal working hours. They're done at 5 o'clock. So anybody that I work for the state, we're done typically at 4:30. So you're racing to this office thinking you're going to get something done. And you're not, because you don't have this, you don't have that. You still have to bring more paperwork. So that was when I went out to the car and I sat there and I felt defeated. And I said, 4 to 5 trips to get this done. Next trip in, I still needed another paper. Now I'm taking off time from work to do this. Wow. There's not people that have built up their time bank or have sick time, or when you think you can run there at lunch and you get in there and you're like, nope, I still have to get more paperwork. So now you're over at lunch, your boss, like, it's just too much. And it shouldn't have to be that overwhelming. There should be very clear documented processes on what to do, what people need. And the website should be able to provide the constituents with the documentation that they need. It should be a simple in and out trip there. But then at the end, this is what really sent me over the edge. 2 years later, I went back and tried to finish this transaction. And finally, everything was right. All of the documents were there. She said, you can just write this down. And I said, okay, you tell me what to write. I'm going to write it. So she told me, I wrote it down. I said, how much is all of this? $71. Okay, here's my card. Oh, we don't take cards. We only take, yeah. I was like, another trip out of this office. Yes, they only take cash, check, cashier's check. So she said, there is an ATM down the rotunda on the other side. I said, okay, let me run down there. Yeah, that would have been great, but it was out of order. So off I go to Wawa to use their ATM, only to come back for the 6th time now and finally complete that transaction. And that is what really drives me to run, because I know we can serve the constituents of Kent County better. And I know that we can train our employees. I was a trainer for a long time. This is the step. This is the process. Like, no one should walk away from here feeling defeated.
Right.
It's our job to help them. And if they don't have the right documents, let's give it to them. She did. I'm not going to say she didn't give me the documents. She did. I had to pay for them, but she gave them. And one of the documents was so photocopied so many times that it was crooked on the page and it was like fuzzy. Well, it's no wonder I didn't know what to bring, because I couldn't read what you gave me to bring anyway. So that, like, we need to fix, those are simple fixes that can change someone's whole interaction with us. It can change someone's day. They could have had the most horrible day at work and come into that office and think, let me run and get this done real quick. And then you're hit with, well, you need this, you need that. And it could be a total, it could be a game changer of someone's day. Like, I could have left that first experience and out in my car and was like, gosh, that was great. I need to write a letter and let them know how wonderful that experience was.
Right.
That's the kind of office I want to have, where someone leaves that office and wants to send a letter saying, wow, thank you. Not someone sitting in their car feeling defeated. Like, I feel like we can do better. We can do better.
Somebody asked a question. What are the primary responsibilities of the recorder of deeds that the average residents might not even know about?
So you probably don't know that all of your deeds are not digitized. They should be, but they're not. So they're the gatekeeper of all of that information. You should not have to research anything for your deed, your property, anything. It should be right there for you. And people may not know how involved with even partnering with the recorder of wills, who is on the second floor. There's a partnership there because the recorder of wills is processing deaths, and they got to work with the recorder of deeds. So you got to have a great partnership there because they're processing and going to probate and all, but there's property possibly involved in that. So there's got to be a firm partnership between those two offices. So the recorder of deeds, it has their hands where you think, oh, they just handle, they just deal with people coming in and out of the office that with real estate agents. No, we work with every constituent who has a question about their deed. We work with the Register of Wills. We work with the commissioner. It's not a simple job. It's a much needed job. So there's that.
Wow. So they have that responsibility. And folks, this is protecting your property. This is your generational wealth. This is something that's going to mean a lot to you going down and passing down to the next generation. And we need to make sure it's right. I mean, we need to make sure that if something you don't have, you can walk in there and say, hey, I need the deed to this property. Can we save it for our records? And so they should be able to do it electronically. Would be a fabulous way.
Yes. And I'll say I'm currently working on a project on my state job where we're introducing web forms for retirees. They no longer will have to fax stuff and send stuff. So that's something you look at. Some of this stuff can be web forms that can be automatically sent, and you don't need to leave your house. We have to find ways to bring that office to our homes. Yes, in the end, you'll have to stop in there because there has to be some type of checks and balances. But all of the pre-work, we have to find a way to bring the office into the constituent's home for a majority of the transaction and stop making people 4 and 5, 6 trips to get something done. We have to do that.
And what is the most misunderstood thing that the constituents might have about the recorder of deeds that I know people might say, hey, I need a lawyer to go into that office.
What you just said was exactly what I was going to say. You don't need a lawyer to go in there.
Right.
There are trained employees that can assist you. They are, now keep in mind, they're not lawyers. They can't give you legal advice, but you definitely do not need a lawyer to transact with that office. I am not a lawyer. I went in there as a constituent to transact with that office. And that is, like you said, a misconception about the office. Someone probably thinks, oh, I got to pay $450 an hour to have the lawyer go up there for 15 minutes. No, you do not. You can transact with your local or your county recorder of deeds without an attorney involved.
And that's perfect to know. So folks, if y'all need to go get a copy of your deed or something like that, they're available for you. You know, you don't have to have a second party go there and spend money.
Exactly. More money.
Right.
We need to cut back on when we're what we charge for and stuff like that. You don't need to spend money on an attorney as that's an additional fee or something a trained employee can assist you with.
And do they see what's the most common types? You know, I know with the recorder of deeds, you can have fraud, you know, and stuff like that. Do they have protective boundaries to protect against that type of stuff? Or
well, yes and no. So there was a bill that was passed that has kind of removed some protection. As far as like removing, with the world that we live in, with all the AI, with all of the just bad actors out there, someone could potentially, and I'm going to repeat a story that was told to me, where someone in Southern Delaware convinced an elderly couple to leave their estate to them, and they would keep their estate as it was. They wouldn't sell it to developers. It would stay as a farm, and sold them a big story, and they got them to sign off. Well, guess what? When they died, they did not do that. They sold to developers, and the original owner's children tried to fight this. Couldn't.
wow.
Couldn't. They spent, I think, don't quote me on the amount, but I want to say like $200,000 trying to fight this, and they lost. But then the people that finagled, they then sued the children and won for their legal fees.
Wow.
So there are safeguards that have been removed, and if there's bad actors out there, and we know that there are, they can do that. Wow. They can go into wherever and get a notary with a fake ID and say that you gave them your property.
Wow.
And sign everything. So we really need to be vigilant about our property. And like you said, generational wealth. We need to be mindful that as the internet and everything else progresses, our safeguards need to progress with that. We are responsible. We are the gatekeepers to protect our citizens from fraud. And we should be putting every measure in place to do that. We should.
And say, Ramona, can I go in there and say, hey, I want to see Ramona Bracey's deed, so can I buy that? Is that?
You can go in and request to see a deed. They're going to ask for license, but it is public information as well. So they can't withhold from you because it's public information. You can go online and pull up my name. It'll show you my deed. Any deeds that have my name on it or had my name on it at one point, you'll be able to see that. Does everybody know that? No. But it is online. If you search it out and find it, it's there. It's there.
And that's important, folks. You know, sometimes that little research to figure out your property, not to say that you're looking at your whole block, that you make sure that it's what you have, you know, for it. And you can take it, you know, to attorney then and say, hey, I want to make sure this is my description of my property. And
Yeah.
this is the people that are transferred to for, which is so important, Ramona. And say, how does the office work with other county departments to prevent fraud transfers for it?
So it actually does work a lot with, and people may think they only handle those transactions, but no, the recorder of deeds has to partner. Like I said, register of wills, the commissioner, the permits is right next to the recorder of deeds office where they do the permits and everything. You have to work with local law enforcement. You have to create those business relationships and maintain them. You have to build trust and confidence in each other to work together for the common good of the constituents, of the citizens. You just have to be willing. And sometimes you may not get the answer that you want, but you have to keep, if you are passionate, and this is what my parents always told me, if you're passionate about something and you feel it's the right thing, keep knocking on doors. Mm-hmm. Keep knocking on doors, because the system is built for you to give up.
Right.
Don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up. You got to keep pressing. You must keep pressing on if you're passionate about something. And I'm very passionate about creating an office where we're diverse, we're trained up, we're willing to partner outside of that office for the good of the people. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that have come up about that office is that, and it's not necessarily the office's issue, is that Livy Court building is closed at 5:00. What about the people that work? How come you can't be more like Del Dot and have a day that's late? I can't disagree with that. I'm a Del Dot baby. That was my first state job, was at Del Dot. And Wednesdays was a late night. Right. I don't disagree. So will I ask the question? I absolutely will. Is there something we can do? Even if, and I'll put myself out there to say, can I do appointment only on a said night or any night? Can I just tell them, call the office? If you can't get here before closing, set an appointment with me and I'll take care of you after 5:00 when you can get there. We have to think of ways where we can make people's lives easier. Yeah. There's a lot going on in our world nowadays. We don't need to add to it. We don't. We can find ways to be of assistance and to make someone's day brighter. You might not think the recorder of deeds can make someone's day brighter, but I can tell you my experience was my day was not brighter. So I'm determined that one process will be the very first one I look at. The very first one I look at.
And can people drop, say if you have, as you was talking about transfers, if the real estate attorneys or title companies have deeds they need to drop off after 5:00, are they not open to drop those off, or how would that work?
The gates are down at 5:00. That's what I can tell you. There is a box out there. Don't know enough about it to say whether or not anyone looks in it, anyone use it, or if anyone's comfortable using it. Because nowadays people are reaching into mailboxes and pulling stuff out. So that's one thing I will look at. There's got to be a way electronically to send stuff, right? Electronically. We have an internet. We have, why are we not utilizing this stuff?
And how can the constituents find out more of educating themselves on the recorder of deeds if they needed to? What can they do to voice their opinions there?
So what I did was I Googled it and talked to friends. But initially with my bad experience, I Googled it and I wanted to see, what is it about this office that is making my life so hard? And that's where I got my info. I went to the website and I honestly looked, where can I get these forms? What can tell me what I need to do? And I wound up back in the office. And the woman that helped me was right. It's going to take you 4 to 5 times before you get this right. She
Mm-hmm.
said, that's how it is. It takes people 4 or 5 times to get it right. So don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she was able to say that to me tells me that I wasn't the first person. And how come the problem wasn't fixed after that? Like, we shouldn't be okay with telling someone, oh, don't worry. It usually takes people 4 to 5 times. There's nothing wrong with her saying it,
Mm-hmm.
but there should have been action where she didn't have to say that. Where I walked up there, had my papers, and she said, oh, you need this, and it's right here. Let me give it to you.
Mm. Somebody asked, what would you say the top 5 things people should know about the recorder of deeds would be?
1, the recorder of deeds should be interacting with not only in our state, but across the board. So there is, if you didn't, we have 3 recorder of deeds, obviously, up north, Kent County, Sussex. Those 3 need to be operating the same way, as well as outside of our state. We need to look at best practices across the board outside and come up with something that works well for our state. The top 5 that we do. So obviously real estate transactions, working with realtors, working with people who may have a deceased member of their family, assisting with constituents that come in and might just have a question. Be able to direct them. If we're not the office that they need, have enough knowledge on where to send them to get what they need. We can't stand behind a counter and say, oh, that's not done here. It doesn't help anyone. That doesn't serve anyone. Be able to help them navigate to where they need to go. And fraud. We really need to, fraud is big. I'm also a DTI baby too. So I work there too. You know, everyone with the state, we got to bounce around. So I work there too. So fraud is, and that's why I say bad actors, because that's DTI talk. Bad actors are out there. So we have to be vigilant in protecting the assets of our constituents. So that is going to require, again, reaching your arms out outside of that office. We can't be siloed in the office. We have to think of new ideas, new ways to assist and prevent. Because as fast as we're thinking of things, the bad actors are thinking of them too. What's the next thing? So, yeah, those are the 5 things I believe that we need to focus on, and streamlining those processes.
That's awesome. So how can researchers or genealogists best utilize the recorder of deeds if they need to come?
If they really are researching, you can go online and look at you can look by address, you can look by name, lot, you can look many different ways to research properties.
And
many different ways.
Yeah. Somebody said, can I look up my grandmother's old deed at the recorder of deeds, or would that be a special request?
You can go out to the website, put in first and last name, or if you knew the address, you can put the address in and it will list owners, or if you put in my name, it's going to list any properties that my name has been associated with as far as the deed. If you put in the address, it'll come up with people that are associated with that address as far as the deed.
Wow. Yeah. And that's good to know. So folks can understand, what they're doing if they want to look up, for it, because I know folks, they're like, well, I thought my grandmother used to own this property, but it's empty, it's abandoned. Are we responsible for it now?
And that's a good thing to bring up, because if you feel like that's the case,
right,
you should absolutely look to see, because after a certain amount of time, if the taxes aren't paid, it gets taken. So if you feel as though you've been driving past this property and I feel like, I don't know, whatever the case may be, that you may feel like your grandmother or someone in your family owns that property, look it up. There's no charge. Knowledge is power. There's no charge for that. Look it up and see, and then work from there.
That makes sense. Somebody said, how do you balance the need for rapid modern recording with the preservation of historical records?
Right. Well, you do need to preserve historical records. We need to digitize them. And yes, we need to modernize systems. We need to look at ways that can make life easier, modernize our systems. There are a lot of systems out there. I'm currently working on a project where we're modernizing our systems, bringing them up to date. We have people working in the office that are still using Access database. It's like, hello, Access? No, they're still using it. So we are modernizing our systems, and the deeds office needs to look at how can we enhance the experience online, bringing the office into their home so there's less back and forth, and making it easier. And that is something that, like I said, I have the experience to do. I can look at it, see where we can cut waste out. Do we need all these steps in here? What's the starting point, and where do we need to get to? And then from there, what are we doing in between to get from there to there? Okay, do we need all of these steps? Oh, we can cut a day out here, then let's cut a day out here. As long as you maintain the integrity of the process and the outcome, you can look for ways to cut waste. We shouldn't still be operating in 2026 the same way we were operating in 1990. We just shouldn't.
Right.
We shouldn't. Too much has changed in that point. Too much has changed. We need to be up with the times. But I find that, and it's not only Recorder of Deeds it's everybody across the board. If there's not funds to do it,
what are
you going to do? You have to think outside of the box. What are baby steps that we can take to get us there?
Right.
But at least to enhance the current process. So I'm telling you, telling a constituent it takes 4 to 5 times before most people get it right is not the way to do business. It is not.
And Ramona Bracey, Recorder of Deeds, what changes could we expect as you, the next leader, within the next 2 years?
Well, like I said, the very first process I'm looking at is the one that I was trying to do. Right. Because now that I've gone through that process, I know it shouldn't take 4 to 5 trips to that office to get this done. It should be one trip. And a lot of that stuff can be online, where you can send it back and forth online. You do not need to make 4 or 5 trips. The other thing is finding a way to bring the office into the home, finding a way to schedule appointments after everyone's working hours, be available for them to come to you when it's convenient for them. It can't always be, we're done at 5 o'clock. Sorry, my workday is over, because the people of Delaware deserve better. They deserve to be able to come and meet with their elected official and or a member of their team to conduct business around their schedule. Am I saying every single night you have to be open late? No, you don't.
No. Right.
But realistically, like I said, I started at Del Dot, and every Wednesday the office was 12 to 8. And I'm not even asking anyone that currently works there to work 12 to 8. I'm willing to step up and say, if we can't open this building from 12 to 8 on a Wednesday, can we schedule appointments where I'm here and they can schedule. Everyone will know ahead of time. Ramona's got someone coming in at 5:15 to meet with her. I'm willing to be that person that stays late and takes care of the constituents. But we have to find a way to bend a little. And like I said, put a smile on our citizens' face and help them. Some people are going through a very hard time. Right. I just lost my mother March 4th.
Wow.
She passed away. Yeah. But somebody may be coming to that office in that frame of mind. And we've got to be ready. We've got to be there. We've got to be able to help them. They're already dealing with emotions, and now they've got to go through register of wills. They've got to come down to recorder. It's a lot. It is a lot to take on what you're grieving. We got to be the people that are there, ready, waiting, smile on the face, ready to help. Give them a hug. I'm a hugger. I hug everybody. Right. So give them if that's what it takes to put a smile on their face, then let's do it.
Right.
How hard is it to be nice to people?
It's not at all. It's not. It's easy. And being in office, recorder of deeds, how will you protect the properties of the community owners? What would you put in place there?
We have to look at what's currently in place, because maybe there's stuff currently in place that just needs an enhancement. Maybe I would love for that to be the case, but we absolutely have to get in there and look at what do we currently have out there and how can we work to improve it and protect the citizens. And like I said, I'm not going to come in here and say that office is horrible right now. Yeah. We're humans.
Yes.
And humans make mistakes. Humans are not perfect, but we have to be willing to get in there, look at what's there, and see how we can enhance it or replace it and make things better. We can't continue to operate like we did 10, 20 years ago.
Right.
We're not in that time anymore, and fraud is big. And that will be one of the major things I look at to look to ensure that we're doing everything that we can to protect citizens from fraud, because the bad actors are out there and they're looking for new ways for their get-rich-quick scheme. And not under my watch. Nope. Listen, I worked many years and I used to always tell my team, don't put us in the paper.
Right.
That's that. Don't put us in the paper. We're going to do things the way they're supposed to be done, because there will not be a story written about us in the paper. And I will stick to that. We're going to get out there. We're going to look at current processes and see how we can fix them. And I believe that with my experience, we'll get it done. I'm telling you, that first process will get done, if nothing else. And I'm going to come back on this podcast and say, it's done.
It happened.
Yes. And I'm coming back. I'm going to come back again, and I'm going to say, this is the checklist that I want you all to hold me to. And then I'm going to come back on and say, even if I just have a 5-minute spot on another show, hold up that checklist, check that box. All right, see you guys. I'm going off to work.
And checks and balances, it is so important. And we get in there to where, we're just checking to make sure that that title company provided that correct information. Will y'all have those securities in place too?
Well, when I'm there.
When we see you come into that office? Yep.
Yes, because I have seen, and like I said, that story I told you earlier, it sticks with me, that people were able to actually steal acres of land right out from under a family, generational wealth. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Because bad actors.
Wow.
We have to be very vigilant about, especially protecting the elderly, especially because they are main targets with this. They are main targets. There has to be safeguards in place. We have to have a trained up team ready to, you know, even if it's a phone call saying, hey, someone just came in here. I feel a little weird about this transaction. Okay, let's look at it. Let's see. Let's dig in. Let's make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the citizens.
Right, right. And that makes sense. And tell us, somebody asked a question. Do y'all collaborate with all three counties, the recorder of deeds? Do y'all have quarterly meetings or something to discuss objectives and stuff?
So since I'm not in there now,
Right.
I don't know, but I can tell you my goal will be yes, because every county in the state of Delaware should be running things the same way. We shouldn't have someone come to the office and say, oh, well, I moved from Sussex and they did things this way. We should all be operating the same way. And that's across state government and county government, local as a whole. In the state of Delaware, we should be running a consistent process across the board. It shouldn't be different county to county. Are there differences within things? Yeah, but people shouldn't be confused by which county they're in and saying that, oh, they did it differently here. We should all be pretty much in unison, and that will be one of the things that I do. In fact, I'm going to be having lunch with our Newcastle County recorder, who's currently in office and has been for over 20 years. So I'm already in it to look to see. Yes, I'm going to make the changes that are necessary, and I'm determined to have an office run like a well-oiled machine where they don't necessarily need me every day.
Right.
You know, they don't need, because to be honest, this is one thing you asked, are there something that the constituents might not know? The elected official is only part-time.
Oh, wow.
It's only a part-time job. Yes, the elected official is only part-time. There's a deputy that actually, I'm going to say, runs the office because they're full-time. Yes, the elected official is part-time.
Wow.
It's a part-time job.
So, wow, that's amazing,
Yes.
for that.
So you need to have a strong, trained up, ready to go team because you're part-time. They're the ones that are there running the office. Yeah.
The whole time.
People might not know that. Yes, it's a part-time job.
Folks, you heard that, this is part-time, and performing at those tasks is amazing and we have to take that in consideration when we're dealing with that. And, Ramon, I thought they were there all the time. So you just like me about something.
The elected official is a part-time role. Their deputy is full-time. So if I win, I'm going to put it in the universe. When I win, I will have a deputy that I appoint that actually is there full-time. Yes. The elected official is part-time. Yep.
And somebody asked, does Delaware have the budget for the changes you would like to implement, or would you have to request them?
I'm sure there's a request process because there always is.
Right.
But that comes with looking at the process, because you can't just go request something and not have a white sheet to go through and say, this is why we need it. This is what they're doing over in Illinois, because one of the projects that I worked on for the state, I partnered with a project manager in Illinois. They went through the same type of project. So they were able to feed me information, what went well, what didn't go well, and kind of guide me along with how they were doing and utilizing the system. So you have to do your research and promote the changes with confidence. And I prefer to have a known outcome. Like I said, visit Illinois and talk to them, see how they're doing it, what's working, what's not working, and say, okay, so in the end, I want us to look like this, giving back days of workload within a month to work on other stuff because we're not using an Access database and spreadsheets. And so you have to, I'm sure, go through the proper channels with budget and to ensure that the funding is there. But you also have to do your own research prior to requesting it, and make sure that there's validity to what you're requesting, because you don't want to waste constituent money on something that's not valid. You just, you got to be well versed in what you're moving into and ensure that you can complete the project, and that it's beneficial to everyone involved. It can't make Ramona's life easier, but then the constituents got extra things. That it's got to be something really that blesses the constituents with more time back with their families. You can't just request to make your life easier, because it's not always all about you.
Right.
So my parents.
Somebody asked a question too, Ramona. With being part-time, how would you balance your schedule to meet the needs of the constituents?
Right. So you have to get in there and see where is the value of your time. So what part of the days do they need you? And that's talking to the current employees and getting their feedback. Where do you spend most of your time? Where could you use more help? You've got to get in there and ask questions and be willing to roll up the sleeves and assist and learn. Because I've been in operations before. I've been in record keeping. I've been on projects, but every new role will bring something different that you don't know. So you've got to be able to balance your time. Am I going to be able to quit my state job? No. I can't. I need benefits. Right. So I've got to find the common balance and what works for the Recorder of Deeds office and maintaining my other employment, which that'll be a new boss too, because that's at the state treasurer's office. So you just have to find the value. Where is your time most valuable at to spend, and see where that goes and figure out where your time is best spent. I feel like, again, this may change once in office, having office hours, even if it's by appointment only, in the evenings for constituents is one of the things that I will stand by and I will commit to for myself, because I know how hard it is trying to balance getting kids here and there, getting to work, getting home, and then you're trying to rush to get to an office that closes at 5 o'clock. But I've been told, I didn't witness it, but I've been told that sometimes you can get to that office at 4:45 and the gates are half down.
Wow.
So that will not happen under me.
Wow.
If you're scheduled till 5 o'clock, gates will be up till 5 o'clock.
Wow.
Again, I have not witnessed it. I was told this. So.
And some of the constituents out here, you know, they get to see a new face, a new vision here, and open up a new avenue of kind of strategically making it online versus always coming in person. Do you see that being a challenge, transferring from online to in person, and how will that be handled? For me personally, because I'm on a project that I'm doing it. So the challenges that we're running into is making sure that when you put in this box, the information flows, and at the end, your end result is correct as far as monetary. So yes, there's challenges in ensuring that the forms work the way you want them to work. But that's why you have a project plan, and you outline each step of the way. And if something's not working, you call it out immediately
we do testing, user acceptance testing, then I'm testing in the background to make sure nothing is perfect. You're going to have hiccups, but it's how you rally yourself beyond the obstacles, beyond the hiccups to get to the finish line. So I'm going to say that getting stuff online is not hard. It's not hard to do, but does it function accurately is the key, because I can put 50,000 forms online, but if they're not functioning right, I wasted time, right? It's just me putting pictures up if they're not functioning right. So I'm going to get in there and do the due diligence behind the scenes and make sure everything's functioning before it rolls out to the constituents, because why roll something out that's not working right? Because now they have to come into the counter, which is what we're trying to avoid. And they're frustrated because the forms that I put out aren't working right. No, you have to get in there and test it and make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to work.
Right. For it and stuff. And that's going to be so important for that to be, testing and getting people acclimated to a new change, which is going to be great. We look forward to that change, and
people don't like change.
Yeah,
that's why as a project manager, I went and got certified in ProSci. And that is a change management skill. The people side of change is what they call it. And people don't like change. I don't like it.
Right.
Well, I can't say I don't like it, because I do it all the time. I do like it if it's for the betterment, but you have to know your audience. You have to work and make people comfortable with the change. You can't just say, oh, this is how we're doing it now. No, because people are already resistant. And when you throw it at them, it just makes them more resistant.
Right.
You have to gradually bring people in and work with them to make sure they're comfortable. Like I said, the people in that office have to be comfortable with the change. Otherwise, they're not beneficial to the constituents that are coming in to transact. And now they're not comfortable with the change. So everyone has to be in there and willing to bring about change for everybody.
Right. And change is good. They say nobody like change besides a baby with a wet diaper, But,
there you go. There you go.
But it happens for the greatness of developing, and I think our constituents will love that, because they can see the way that we're moving into modern times, and they don't feel that walking into their waiting, in the line where they can go and have that for it. One of our last questions is electronic recording. We know that is heavy, and a lot of people's getting into us. Tell us how that will be transformed. Will that be all the way digital, or will we still be able to do manual writing and dropping off documents like that?
Well, I'm a digital type person because it's easier.
Right.
But I look at it like this. My mother still liked writing checks. Right. So there is a population of people out there that they're just not into the electronic stuff. My mother was not. She wants to write a check. She doesn't want to pay a bill online. She wants to get the envelope and put the stamp on there and mail it. You have to be willing to do that for a while when you institute a digital change like that. Because I don't want to cause people stress, blood pressure, and everything else. But there is a group of people out there that are not ready for electronic stuff. And I will tell you, working for the state, there are still people getting paper checks.
Wow.
And going to the bank with a paper check. Yes.
Signing the back.
Yes. They're still out there. Wow. They're still out there. And you don't want to turn those people away. You have to help them. So whether it's I'm okay with having a training class, a recorder of deeds training class. Come in and see how this is done. Put something up online. I've built plenty of training videos online. Put something on the website to show them.
Mm.
Introduce them to it.
Right.
Have them do a trial run on the website. That's what we have a website for, right?
Right.
It's not for us, it's for the constituents. Put stuff out there to help them accept change. That's what they need. If you show somebody and create a feeling of comfort in change, they'll gradually get there, but you can't throw it on them and then give them nothing to help.
Right.
Now, my mom, she was never going to stop writing checks. Okay. She just wasn't. She just wasn't. She wasn't stopping writing the checks. Even when I explained to her, you know how much you're paying to get checks printed when you run out? Nope. She was writing the checks. I was like, you can easily just tap your phone. No, she does. She wants to write checks. And there's people out there like that. So we have to be cognizant of that. And that's a lesson that my mother taught me. Like, as frustrating as it was for me to be going to buy stamps, because one thing people might not know about me, I was her caregiver for years. And she actually stopped walking in 2020, I want to say in between 2020 and 2021. So I was changing diapers, doing all that kind of stuff for her. I was her legs. So it taught me humility. It taught me to be understanding, patience. It helps you. Everything that God puts on you helps you to be a better person. And I learned that.
And that's
I learned.
And that's so important, you know, the humbleness and humility when we're doing stuff, and the change management. I mean, you enforce that so greatly to where it's understood. You know, people need that time to make those changes, but it's great changes. It's positive changes. It's a smooth transition for it, and it's what we need. And if you got to tell any of our viewers now something about your platform as you go and we claim the transition into the recorder of deeds, what would that be?
My platform is, I am guaranteeing you, I'm going to make your life easier. I'm going to look at processes, streamline processes, and give you time back. Bring the office to your home. And when you need me after 5 o'clock, I will be there. I will be there. You have my word on that, and you can call me out on it anytime you want. I'll be there.
And that's awesome. You know, we need accountability. We love it. We're looking for this transition for Ramona Bracey to come into our recorder of deeds for Kent County and just build it up to bring it more modernized, and look for the excellent things that's going to happen out there. Look for that positive change, folks. And folks, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't register to vote. Make sure you know where your poll is for voting for it. If you don't, call and find out for it, so we can make sure that we make a positive change here in some of the things that we're going to do. This is going to be a transition as Ramona transitions over there. I'm claiming it because you heard me say it so many times. As she transitions over there, we need to make sure that we understand everybody's platform. The platform here is modernizing what we have now to be efficient and effective. You know, we have somebody with a background project management, which is excellent. We need that. Those are the type of folks we need in our positions for government, so we can strategize and provide a more effective way to work this government and to do the things that's going to happen. But folks, Ramona Bracey, recorder of deeds, y'all write it down. Put it on
electbracey.com. Electbracey.com.
Electbracey.com. And go on there. And if you have questions, ask questions. Find out what your needs are. Address those, you know, for that. So you can get those answers from Ramona, and you can understand, hey, this is what she's going to do when she gets in there. So, hey, this is going to work for me. It's going to be beneficial. and we're all going to win. Folks, we had another great session, and I tell y'all all the time, these times are so important that we know what's happening out here in our community, that we know who's out here running, what they're running for, and that we're just not looking at somebody and said, oh, they look good on here, but to have those conversations and get to go out. This Creative Finances with JB. Thank you, Miss Ramona.
Thank you
for coming on. And folks,
I'll be back.
You when she comes back, and she will be back because I'm bringing her back.
You hold me to everything I said. Hold me to it.
And we're going to hold
me to it.
And until next week, y'all have a great evening. Thank y'all for viewing, and y'all have a great night.